Before the video, I have a quick announcement. We have a Patreon now. Patreon.com/allintogether. There will be sideboard guides and strategy write-ups, my thoughts about the formats. As I prep for events, I'll be writing notes up there and just saying, hey, these are decks I'm working on. It's just optional support. It's a great way to give back, and it helps me out a lot. And as well, there's a cool Talishar card back that we have that you can use if you'd like to. It's the art here done by Dead Mint, and these will also be available as Frostbite tokens coming soon. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Good morning, gamers. This is Rob with All In Together. I am wrapping up our Road to National series as we kind of enter this last week here. I have a replay of me playing with a fellow content creator, Ashton Winks TCG. This is a matchup between Fatigue Jarl and Huntsman, who's pretty much always Fatigue. This is a matchup I think we're pretty favored in. This is... as long as you're disciplined, I think it's really hard for Jarl to lose this one. And our goal here is going to be sledging. This is one I've won actually in paper a couple times at locals and at RTNs. I almost never cast anything besides sledge. Like, you're just not attacking too much. I'll talk through some play lines here and some patterns, but yeah, it's really important to keep cards in your deck. Your life total doesn't really matter. They have a really hard time killing you. So it's really just about them removing cards from your deck. So it's about just hitting them with sledge as much as you can, and then trying to keep cards in deck. Let's go ahead and start here. You want to go first if you can, but I think he ends up winning the die roll, so we don't get it. Unlucky. I mean, if he wants to pass, I will cast Open Ult here for free. He's just going to go for 7 here. 5 go again. Okay, I think I end up taking 2 here, because I'm not worried about damage, but this is like a sweet hand if he just does nothing. Sure. This is probably like slightly suboptimal, but like, Oaken's pretty good. And then we got a great arsenal of Shelter here, and if we draw another Oaken, we're cooking. We're hunted. Sure. So I think with Hunted to the Hunted, it's really good early. It gets less good as you lose cards from the deck. It's important, if you can, to keep a shuffle or a draw effect in your arsenal that's played at instant speed. Something like a Remembrance is really powerful here, where you can just totally brick what they want to do. Got rid of 2 Imposing Visages. We already took 1, so we're only losing a couple cards from deck here. And we're okay. So he'll full cover our Oaken Ult. That's fine. That's 1 Hunter Hunted gone, and we're set up for another Oaken Ult if we were to draw it. Okay, that's fine. Love Fiddlers. I typically don't like blocking daggers, but Fiddlers is an exception. Got a Plague Hive here, which is interesting. I think I will send the block of the Shelter because I don't want to lose the card. I'm losing the card kind of no matter what. He's got something powerful here if he wants to keep that. I don't know if yeah. I think they may just want to block more into me, but we'll see. So Graven Call's fine. Like, ideally here I can keep 2 blues, and then Sledge and Arsenal Sinkhole out. Grave Keeping is really interesting. Getting rid of my Oaken Ult is fine. This is just Tunic Sledge, keep a D-React. If you keep a D-React in Arsenal, it's really hard for them to connect on their big plays. I typically don't like to block too much towards them, and my armor is typically reserved for Codexes, especially towards the end of the game when they try to strip your hand. It's really powerful just to be able to say, here's some armor, and just stop what they're trying to. They're kind of the pivot turns. You will see me swing Sledge a lot in this matchup. It's really just kind of all we're looking to do. Keeping track of what we're losing, so we're down in the neck. Just the less kind of tools they have here is the better. A note here on Sigil of Solace is I don't want to play this card that often. It's a card I kind of want to keep in my deck. Yarmed, sure. Even with Perdition here, I'm not like... I think I'm fine to let it hit. because like that's not the yawn hit that really wins the game. An extra card, but like we're just chugging through his deck with Sludge. And like being able to stop like a Shred on an Eradicate is pretty big with this Sigil. I think I have Pulse here. Okay, no, I'd probably block with a Righteous. Okay, yeah, I like that, keeping the Pulse in deck. But keeping Remembrance in deck is better. Pulse can stop them from getting Mask back, which is huge. You can also just break up these big turns they're trying to do. Especially if they're tight on resources. I really like to save my CLS for second cycle. By like freezing them out and stopping them from getting a Mask back on an important turn is good. It also just like makes their turns very predictable, and you can just kind of map out what they're looking to do. If he doesn't do a lot here, I probably will just send the Terra Sunder. You can see it's annoying. That's okay though. We block with probably Ison and Everbloom, and then we just keep on sledging. I wish I didn't have to hover over the decks to see how many cards are in them, just so like I can just always have a track. But having D-Reacts for second cycle is great. I think even wasting Tunic value here is fine, because I want to have reacts for when he wants to pop off and like go for his big plays. So like keeping things like Ison or Eisenloft, keeping a Sink Blow there is an awkward hand for sure. Fiddlers is fine here. If he's got a CNC here, he's got a CNC here. You know, it's just that's life. Surgical, sure. This is one of those times where it's really nice to have the D-Reacts. I think this is when we go Fate to see the top of our deck. But I think, is it a Shelter or is it Sink in the deck? Sink Blow, cool. Now I can swap out the Midas Touch, and full cover, and now we can just go Tunic Sledge. I think a lot of people are confused why you play Midas Touch. It blocks 3 in this matchup, and that's all it needs to do. It's a yellow, which kind of works with Sledge still, so it's still more than playable. But again, we're just pressuring him. We're just churning through his deck and then keeping our life total high. Poison the Well is not a great card here, but it's blue that pitches, and occasionally they rip it off of a Underhunted, and it's very funny. Kept cards, so he's trying to do something clever here. I feel like Coercive Tendency on Plunder the Poor is, I don't know, I guess it is kind of like half hits in Jarl, so that's like not unreasonable, but like it's a tough break on his part. Setting CNC occasionally is fine, because we do want to have a CNC in the yard if they go for Codex. I don't want to just have like big blue 8s that like do nothing. But, like being able to punish him with my own attack is good. And they do play a lot of reacts. You can often punish them for a, what's it called? Underhunted. This is probably Codex or a CNC. Oh, okay. I could play the Sigil here, but again, I'm much more worried about my life than I am worried about the contents of my deck. I guess I do play the Sigil. I still think it's probably incorrect to do that. After playing this matchup more and more, I think it's just like, just keep your deck thick. But if they're not landing a ton of their contracts, I think it's maybe okay, but... Here, he's going for the 1 for 5. I'm pretty happy to block, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I'm going for the Terra Sunder line, which I don't know if I agree with. I think it's reasonable to block an additional card there. But like, he doesn't have a lot of armor, and he has to have D-Rex for this. He does have the Hunter hunted, so he basically pitches his whole hand. We're still getting 3 damage through. What's he gonna rip from us? This would be a huge blow to have like a Remembrance in Arsenal now. Takes our Oakenolds, which is a bummer. But we still have like 1 in Graveyard, I think, from the start of the game, which he can't remove. So we could always Remembrance that back if we need to. But I feel like Terra Sunder is just like a better version of that in this matchup, especially at low life totals. I will cast Oakenol or E-Strike here. This is actually kind of nice because we can basically turn this into a 1-card 11 damage, which is a lot of just deck card damage per card value. So like Pledge is a 0-card 6, but E-Strike here is a 1-card 11 in terms of deck value, which is just so much pressure. We're able to convert a full hand, and either he basically gives us the full hand to block and try to like, but we're basically we're forcing something to look through, which is really important. If he raises reflexes, that's fine. Losing Staunch is kind of a bummer. I don't know what we're trying to Arsenal here. We may not Arsenal. You just play CLF. Then you swing Hammer. I think I'm going to hold on to the Crumble, just have an extra ice card for CLF next turn. Because like, I definitely don't want to Arsenal Crumble, and like we're just kind of doing pretty well in deck value here. But his next turn is going to be Anemic. There we go. Okay, sink below, and then I just pitch 2 ice cards to Hammer. And then Arsenal with CNC. This is tough for him, especially if he's on D-Rex. And now we can either do E-Strike Hammer or E-Strike CNC. I'd probably E-Strike Hammer here. Thankfully, it's the Frail, like we don't care. Losing Pulse is a bummer, but we are pressuring him hard. So we just say 5 go again. 26, we're about even on deck value, and we're ahead in the life race, and we still have all of our armor. Really important. His gear actually be expensive this turn, so we're almost turning lethal at this point. He basically has to give us 2 cards, and basically for every turn for the rest of the game, we can threaten lethal. And the Scale Peeler, I don't mind. That's fine. You go Codex here. Okay, leave no witness, so we just sink below this. That's the pop mask. And then we can send back a Terra Sunder. Taking 3. Putting in a 1 card. The best card to keep here is Codex. Makes sense. Again, we'll just give him a leave no witness, or we give him the shelter. Okay. You know what? That's fair. I think I like this is probably better. Because I'd rather just keep the shelter in deck for like a more important turn, and then we can Arsenal shelter or Arsenal. Yeah, CNC Arsenal. This is I think a little bit better than Hammer. So we're effectively trying to rip cards from his deck too. While we're doing this, this matchup's kind of about counter fatiguing. A lot of the decks I play typically have this playstyle in Huntsman where it's like they'll try to fatigue you and you're just more efficient back. Anyway, I think unless he does... I don't know if I like agree with this, because I think I could just go E-Strike Hammer and just like kill him. Oh, I've got inertia. That's fair. Kind of changes the math a little bit here. So we sigil, sure. And Hunter hunted. I just don't have that many cards left in deck, so it's like I don't think it's super great. And like my best cards are at the bottom of my deck, like my tears, my E-Strikes, my remembrance. Important cards for this matchup are cards he can't really touch. Yeah, he's gonna get rid of a Thunderquake. You can effectively block 10 and still swing back 6, which is really powerful. And every time you swing Hammer now, it's lethal. He's pitching Codex. He probably has another Codex, is my guess. No, okay. You could cast Footsteps here. I think that's not like the worst play in the world. But what we're doing is working. So I think we just keep pressuring and we Arsenal D-react. It's like slightly less value per deck value to send the Footsteps. And like it would only be 1 more damage there, so it's like not worth it. Probably Codex. Yep. So we block Glacial Footsteps, Monster Grande, and then we can go 1 card 6, then pitch the Sigil. Or activate Sigil if we wanted to. Oh, okay, I like pitching the Sigil here. At this point, it's kind of a slow death for the Huntsman. It's pretty hard for them to come back in a position like this. Like, there's just a lot. Like, we're keeping parity on deck at this point. And we have quite a few strong cards left at the end of our cycle for, like, Terra Sunder. That will make it really difficult for them. And if he goes for a big play here, we can always staunch it. So, any little daggers he throws, I'm not afraid of. Choice of, sure. If he wants to nick it, great. And then we staunch it. If he has an additional react, we always have our react in Arsenal. But this probably just leaves him with a card in Arsenal. Because he popped his boots, is my guess. Yep. And you could Tunic here and Everbloom back in E-Strike. That's another play line that's probably pretty good. Looking for what's left to grab, but I'm probably looking at Terra Sunders, 2 Terra Sunders in our last open. Razor Reflexes will just react. Actually, that's yeah. No, we don't lose that card. I feel like that's a fine card for us to lose. And then we will keep track of what he's got left. And we just Phoenix Ledge. because he's already cast all 3 of his hunted or hunter. I'm not gonna hold on to it. Yeah, Righteous Clubbing's pretty good. Well, I have a bummer he can't cast it here. Happy to keep a blue in Arsenal, or happy to keep a blue in hand and then just Arsenal like a D-React, but he's got to give us two full cards here. He could give us like Flick Knives, Black Tech kind of card. Just fine. Even then, he does see through a lot of life. Yeah, okay, he gives us Tunic instead. Anyway, unless he disrupts us here, we're just going to Terrace Hunter and probably win the game. Now, codexes, this is definitely a codex, which is ultimately fine. Block with our crumbles, and Mecha Hammer. Anyway, he's out of cards now. Always good to keep track of that. So now this is just like really impactful. It's really hard for him to come back. And anything he wants to do, we have the counter for. And just E-strike him, make him use his last cards, and then we end with a hammer. All right, he's got a D. Okay, yeah, good game. Thank you for the game action. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And then I think I have one more Evolva video in the tank left coming up shortly after. But thank you for watching, and have a good one.